Welcome to Keep the Faith Ministry News. The Justice Department is quietly amending its execution protocols, no longer requiring federal death sentences to be carried out by lethal injection and clearing the way to use other methods like firing squads and poisonous gas. The amended rule, published Friday in the Federal Register, allows the U.S. government to conduct executions by lethal injection or use, quote, any other manner prescribed by the law of the state in which the sentence was imposed. A number of states allow other methods of execution, including electrocution, inhaling nitrogen gas, or death by firing squad. It remains unclear whether the Justice Department will seek to use any methods other than lethal injection for executions in the future. The rule, which goes into effect on December 24th, comes as the Justice Department has scheduled 5 executions during the lame duck period, including 3 just days before President-elect Joe Biden takes office. A Justice Department official said the change was made to account for the fact that Federal Death Penalty Act requires sentences to be carried out, quote, in the manner prescribed by the law of the state in which the sentence is imposed, and some of those states use methods other than lethal injection. The official told the AP the federal government, quote, will never execute an inmate by firing squad or electrocution unless the relevant state has itself authorized that method of execution. The official said 2 executions scheduled in December would be done by lethal injection, but didn't provide information about 3 others scheduled in January. The official spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity in order to discuss the Internal Department's protocols. The change is likely to set off intense criticism from Democrats and anti-death penalty advocates, as the Trump administration tries to push through a number of rule changes before Trump leaves office. A spokesperson for Biden told the AP earlier this month that the president-elect opposes the death penalty now and in the future, and would work to end its use, but he did not say whether execution would be paused immediately once Biden takes office. Attorney General William Barr restarted federal executions this year after a 17-year hiatus. This year, the Justice Department has put to death more people than during the previous half-century, despite waning public support from both Democrats and Republicans for its use. All states that use the death penalty allow lethal injection, and that is the primary method in all states where other methods are allowed, according to data compiled by the nonprofit Death Penalty Information Center. As lethal injection drugs become difficult to obtain, some states have begun looking at alternative methods for carrying out death sentences. Alabama joined Oklahoma and Mississippi in 2018, approving the use of nitrogen gas to execute prisoners, allowing the states to asphyxiate condemned inmates with the gas in some cases. In some states, inmates can choose the method of their execution. In Florida, for example, an inmate can specifically ask to be put to death by electrocution, and in Washington state, inmates can ask to be put to death by hanging. In Utah, prisoners sentenced before May 2004 can choose to be killed by a firing squad. The state law there also authorizes the use of a firing squad if lethal injection drugs aren't available. In 2014, following a botched state execution in Oklahoma, President Barack Obama directed the Justice Department to conduct a broad review of capital punishment and issues surrounding lethal injection drugs. Barr said in 2019 that the review had been completed, allowing executions to resume, and approved a new procedure for lethal injections that replaced the 3-drug combination previously used in federal executions with one drug, pentobarbital. The one-drug protocol is similar to the procedure used in several states, including Georgia, Missouri, and Texas. Before the Trump administration resumed executions this year, the federal government had put only 3 inmates to death since 1988. Though there hadn't been a federal execution since 2003, until July, the Justice Department has continued to approve death penalty prosecutions, and federal courts had continued sentencing defendants to death. Trump has spoken often about capital punishment and his belief that executions serve as an effective deterrent and an appropriate punishment for some crimes, including mass shootings and the killings of police officers. Many conservatives are advocates of the death penalty, the federal government is quietly making changes to the rules to expand the methods that can be used to carry out the death penalty, most notably the firing squad. Quote, as the Sabbath has become the special point of controversy throughout Christendom, and religious and secular authorities have combined to enforce the observance of the Sunday, the persistent refusal of a small minority to yield to the popular demand will make them the objects of universal execration. It will be urged that the few who stand in opposition to an institution of the church and a law of the state ought not to be tolerated, that it is better for them to suffer than for the whole nations to be thrown into confusion and lawlessness. The same argument many centuries ago was brought against Christ by the rulers of the people. It is expedient for us, said the wily Caiaphas, that one man should die for the people and that the whole nation perish not. John 11:50. This argument will appear conclusive, and a decree will finally be issued against those who hallow the Sabbath of the fourth commandment, denouncing them as deserving of the severest punishment and giving the people liberty after a certain time to put them to death. Romanism in the Old World and apostate Protestantism in the New will pursue a similar course toward those who honor all the divine precepts. Great Controversy, page 615. This is Keep the Faith Ministry News. Thank you for watching.